Okay, welcome everybody. So glad that you could join us today. Do appreciate you taking time out to learn how to better manage your time, and you should know that it's an investment in yourself and that you're doing the right thing by continuing to look for new ways to improve and get better. After all, facts show that less than 5% of people continue to invest in themselves after they're finished with high school or college. So great job taking the initiative to learn and come here today and try and get some new tips and ideas on how you can continue to improve on your time management and productivity. So first off, some housekeeping items. My first goal every time I work with anybody it's simple. It's three main things: be productive, be profitable, and have fun. Be productive is the foundation of just about everything that we do. You know, if we're not productive, we can't get anything else, and we won't feel like we're moving forward on any of our goals, and we'll get frustrated very quickly. Be profitable. Economics still drive this world, and whether you're an employee, a business owner, or just a busy mom that wants to know how to do things, it's still important to know what you do brings you some sort of financial gain of some type, at least during what we call, pay time, or the normal day that you're involved with. Anytime that it takes you away from your family, from your friends, hobbies, or other things you enjoy doing besides work. We must be profitable in our activities. And finally, have fun. I mean, life's just too short. We have to have fun. And I believe if you're productive and you're profitable, it's a heck of a lot easier to have more fun. And I'm trying to teach that and work with everybody that I speak with on that matter, so they understand those three things go together. And that's really what we want to accomplish through these time management webinars. And the other thing to keep in mind is you're not alone. We're not on an island here. Everybody struggles with time management and getting things done. I've surveyed my customers over and over again and find it's always one of the top 5 things that come up that people wrestle with is how to get more done, time management, and what's the best way to get through all the tasks that I have in this busy day, in this busy world we live in. Remember, this is an ongoing series. You can catch up on past ones at jon-toy.com. Or you can register for the next one at jon-toy.com/time-mgmt webinar, and you'll be able to register for the next one coming up. We want to make sure you capture all that, and you can always catch the past ones. And it's only 10 minutes, and then we have some time for Q&A if anybody has it, and occasionally we'll get a few different people that have comments on what we've talked about. So make sure you enter your questions into the question box if you do have any of them, so we can make sure we get it. But now, let's get right into the content and keep things moving forward for you. I always like to share a few good quotes that kind of get us motivated, started off on why it's important to have time management and productivity tips in your life. And the first one says, "Don't mistake movement for achievement. It's easy to get faked out by being busy. The question is, busy doing what?" And that comes from Jim Rohn, if you're familiar with him. Excellent author, speaker, had many excellent things to teach a lot of folks. But I like the way that that's worded, because it's so true. We tend to feel busy, but what are we really accomplishing? And that's where these tips are going to help you in that. And this one I thought was kind of cute. The bad news is time flies, and we've all said that at some point in our life. The good news is you're the pilot. Simple analogy that all of us can relate to, because unless you just hate flying, most people have thought about what it would be like to actually be on a plane and be the pilot. So 2 quotes there just to kind of get us focused into what we're going to talk about today. So as we get in here, everybody knows what a vampire is, or I would think most people know what a vampire is. At some point in your life, you saw Count Dracula, cartoons, maybe more recently you have children and they were like the Twilight series that was all the rage. Heck, even Abraham Lincoln was a vampire slayer in a movie. I mean, only in Hollywood can Abraham Lincoln be a vampire slayer. But you know what a vampire is. A vampire sucks blood for nourishment. So what we're going to be discussing today, to build upon some of the previous lessons that we've gone through, is time vampires. Now, a little bit different than a blood-sucking vampire. These are things that come after your time, and they suck it away from you, and they make you unproductive throughout a day. And I think you're going to know what these are as we start to discuss them, but right now in your mind, I just want you to be thinking through, what are some of the things that I know make me not productive during the day, that take away time that could have been better spent using something else, doing something different, and following up on projects or making progress on some of my goals. So I'm going to touch on 4 of the main ones that I see and that I work with my customers and clients on, helping them to get over and to work through so they can be more productive during a day. The first one is meetings, and everybody at some point or another is involved in meetings, particularly if you're in a corporate environment. Obviously, you have lots of meetings, probably many of which you feel are unnecessary or could be a waste of your time. They can quickly become a time vampire. They will suck the life out of your productivity because you're going from meeting to meeting to meeting, and you can't actually get any of the work done. So a few ways and things that you can do to help protect yourself against meetings as a time vampire, I would suggest, and this is the craziest one I ever heard, but I love it. It's called a standing meeting. You have a meeting, it's not a huge agenda that you have to go through, or maybe even if it is, but everybody stands up. Because you know what? You're going to move a lot faster if everybody's standing, because who wants to stand up for an hour? So that's a great way to do that. Another is just make sure it's very clear what the purpose is, and then more importantly, what the follow-up is. Who's doing what next? And make sure the agendas are clear and the assignments are clear, and you don't spend the first half of the meeting going back over what you talked about last month and rehashing everything. So meetings, definitely a time vampire. Second is email. And you know, this is so essential for us today. I mean, we are glued to our email. It's in our phone. It's on our computers. We probably hear dinging in our head in our sleep at night because we just can't believe how many emails are coming through. But it is seriously a time vampire. It can suck the life out of you. Think about the emails that you get. How many of them are progressing or moving your goals and projects forward, and how many of them are meaningless little tedious tasks? And some of them are important. However, they're still just tasks, and it creates more and more work for you when you have email up throughout the day. So we'll talk more about that in a later webinar, but please keep in mind that email can quickly become a time vampire. Don't be afraid to click the little X up in the corner. Shut it off. Work on what you're doing. This is kind of an interesting one because if you know me, you know that I'm very relationship oriented. I love working with people, talking to people, but water cooler chit chat is something that can be a time vampire. And what I mean by that is just that if you have things you need to get done during the day, they're not going to get done if you're walking around and just talking to people about the game last night or the weather outside or other things that might be going on and throughout the day and through their lives. So just keep an eye on that one and monitor it because it can quickly get out of hand and become something that sucks a lot of time out in your day. And then finally, OPU. And what that stands for is other people's urgency. And other people's urgency doesn't have to be yours. Now, with the exception of a boss or someone who really is in charge of you coming in and telling you have to get something done by a certain time, you probably have the ability to say no or to control what's going on. And even if your boss was to come in and tell you to do something that needed to be done right away and you had stuff on your plate, my response to them might be, what do you want me to get rid of or take off my plate? So just keep in mind that other people's urgency doesn't have to be your urgency, and you need to know what your urgency is based upon your day, what you have going on, and all the things that you want to get done. So there's 4 examples of time vampires that I know you've had in your life, maybe even had experienced today. So the real answer, or the real thing we want to talk about, is how do you slay those time vampires and become the garlic and the stake through the heart for time vampires that are sucking your day away. There's a couple ways to do that. First is you got to know how you're spending your time. And if you don't know how you spend your time, you certainly can't adjust things and get better at spending and investing your time throughout your day. Second is you want to identify weaknesses for you. I mentioned email. If email is a weakness, you need to make sure that you're shutting that thing off when you're not involved with it. Maybe your work from home, the TV's on, and it keeps you from getting things done. You've got to know what your weak spots are that become time vampires for you. And finally, I want you to take and track your day for a week. Now, it's a very painful process, but the things you'll learn from doing that are incredible. And I've actually created a resource that I'm going to email out to everyone who's on the call. And if you're watching the replay, you'll be able to see that you can download from the website. So what you want to do is go through there in 15-minute increments and fill out exactly what you're doing, who you talked to, what type of work it was, and it'll really give you a chance to kind of see what and who distracts you. But more importantly, it becomes a huge, crucial tool in taking back control of your day. So time vampires, they're crazy enemies of us, and we want to make sure we know how to defeat them and tackle them. We're going to discuss a few of those strategies in the upcoming webinar sessions that we have. So I would encourage you to register for those. But first, know what is sucking your time. And the action item I want you to do more than anything else in the next week is to download that tracking sheet and stick it in front of you and do it for 1 week. It'll really give you some amazing insight. Find common elements that you can eliminate, because you're going to see on there quickly what it is that's taking away and distracting from your time. So I'd encourage you to do that exercise and figure that out for you. And then you want to make sure you find an environment or a schedule that allows you to prevent those elements that are causing you trouble, those weaknesses that we had talked about, identified. So this week, go out, fill out that timesheet. Please make sure that you are identifying those time vampires and that you find a way to slay them and be more productive. And then again, I would encourage you to join us for our next webinar, which will be May 23rd. So remember to be profitable, be productive, be profitable, and have fun in everything that you do. And you're going to have a lot more fun in your work and be more productive in those things that you're accomplishing.